There we go. Thought we had some glitches for our Saturday morning. Sorry about the couple second late start. I'm surprised I'm here with everyone, which is great because my daughter duped her getting old father into moving furniture all last night. Guy with a pickup truck, and I never get asked to move the card table across the room. It's always the heavy stuff. So me and Advil have had a good relationship last night and this morning, but glad to be here. We're going to have a lot of fun this morning. I'm going to bring in our guest before as I'm introducing her. So just, hey, look, you know what? I've been on your show and had to have you. I've had to listen to you control the who, when I can talk, how long I can talk. So just shut up, Brooke. It feels so good to say
true.
it.
I know.
This is my show. These are my rules right now. So my guest this morning, as you can guess, is Brooke from the Luckiest Club, TLC, as it's called, which is the support group that was hugely instrumental in my recovery. As you guys know, I do come from an AA background, but TLC was something that I was turned on to by a friend of mine and a support group that's unbelievable. And my guest this morning is one of the hosts. I do have, to make Brooke comfortable, I purchased the 3-gallon water jug. I got that just to make you safety in numbers. So I got that. I got I see you using the magic 8-ball for some of the more difficult questions. So we got that. And to add, because Brooke likes to blame certain sounds, I'm going to say, that come out of, I thought, from her, but she likes to blame them on a dog. But I've got Billy saying hello in the background.
Billy
so
cannot be bothered.
Oh no, he's in his golden Buckeye retirement days, and life is good. He had pizza last night for dinner and some blueberry cobbler. So
fancy Billy.
He's having a good time. So
he's living his best life for sure.
Working hard. But anyways, Brooke is here, and I'm thrilled that you're joining us this morning. I want to hear your story, and then I've got some questions that I want to dig into. What I'll say about Brooke, and again, I'm so glad that you're joining us. Recovery's hard. Sometimes it's real hard, and it's work, and that's necessary. But I've cried enough in my life over decisions I've made, and now I'm ready to laugh. And that's the one thing that Brooke brings with her show. I will always call it that, to her show, is she brings the happiness or the joy to our work. And that's important because I know this is hard, but I would rather smile whenever possible. And that's the one thing that Brooke brings. So I'm thrilled you're here. Welcome to Back to Zero. We got our so how you doing this morning?
I'm good. I'm still waking up. Thank you for such a nice introduction.
Well, what is I know you're in Maryland, so you're on the same thing, but what is your just give us a little your background, because we know you as the dominant host that likes to yell people, flash yellow cards and then just cut them off and say, I'm sorry, your time is up.
These are lies that you are telling this morning.
So what is your story? How did you end up on doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let's see. I got sober in 2016, September of 2016, I think. There's Gunner. I don't know if you heard him. I think that was a yes. He thinks that that's when I got sober. And I didn't know what sobriety meant. I just knew it meant that I wasn't going to drink anymore. And I had no idea how I was going to make that happen. So for the first year, I went to a handful of AA meetings. It was the first place where I ever felt a relief, like, it's not just a Brooke problem. Other people are dealing with this. But that first year, I really mostly went at it alone, and it was really, really difficult. Everything changed. My relationships changed. My friendships changed. The whole life changed. And around the time that I was 1 year sober, I found Laura McCallan and Holly Whitaker's podcast, The Home Podcast. And I started listening to that, like binge listening. And Laura was offering a course the first time. It was her first time running the Bigger Yes course. I took that and then reached out to her like a weirdo and was like, hey, if you ever need help with your podcast or anything administrative, I'd be happy to help. Please let me know. I had no idea what a podcast was, other than that it came through my headphones, and I had a full-time job, but I put myself out there. I put it into the world, and she surprisingly said yes. She did need help, and I started working with her at that point, and then it kind of grew into an opportunity, a job. And when the pandemic happened, she was on book tour, and we had been coordinating and scheduling all of that, and then everything shut down. And she and I were talking, and about the fact that people who need support, where are they going to get that now? Because AA meetings weren't happening in person at the time, and she started hosting meetings from her living room, virtual meetings, and it kind of grew into the Luckiest Club. Not kind of, it grew into the Luckiest Club. And I remember she told me like on a Friday, like, hey, we're going to make this a thing, and we need a website, and we need all of this stuff. And I don't think she or I left our chairs for 72 hours. We were just building things and getting everything built like on the back end. And it was never my intention to host meetings. I am much more comfortable not talking, being behind the scenes. And there was a hole in the schedule, and we needed someone to fill it. And it was one of those things that felt scary, but like in the good way. And I said I would do it. And it turned out to be the thing that I needed to do, because it's helped me connect with people. It's helped me find my own voice and get comfortable with telling the truth, speaking the truth out loud, and then also hearing other people's truth and providing a space that I hope feels comfortable enough to do that.
I always wonder if I heard you mention that one time about that there was an opening and you had to fill, but I always wondered if that was Laura's intention, if she said, this Brooke has so much to offer, but she's shy, or whatever you want to say. And if she realized that, hey, this is something maybe you need to do. I don't know if that was by accident but it worked out beautifully, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if that was by design or not, but Laura does tend to know. I don't know if she sees into my soul or what, but I call her my Lady Yoda. She's very wise. I think we all agree there.
So what 2016 in September, what happened that you said enough?
My drinking had become very scary for me. It seemed it was no longer in my control. I had tried everything from, the moderation thing to rules around, I'm only going to drink on the weekends, or I'm only going to drink wine, or I'm only going to drink vodka, because there's no way I could drink as much vodka as I could drink wine. And then it was, okay, that's definitely false. So now let me try whiskey, because surely I can't drink that much whiskey. Turns out I could drink a lot of whiskey. So I was in a relationship at the time that turned out to be what we would call a toxic relationship, although I didn't realize that until a few years into sobriety. But part of my getting sober was to try to keep that relationship alive, because I had this fear of abandonment, of losing a relationship that to me was important at that time. And it was also just like, I was so tired. I don't know if I'm trying really hard not to curse. So
you're good. We're you can say it. You can say do or whatever.
So fucking tired of being perpetually hungover. And it got worse. Like as I got older, the hangovers would last for days, and I felt like crap all the time. And I remember thinking, like, this is not sustainable. Like, I can't keep living my life this way. And what is this going to look like in 10 years? Because my son at the time, he was in first grade when I got sober. And I remember thinking, like, I can't pull this off when he's 10 or in high school. And I will, I don't want to embarrass him in front of his friends. And it was kind of like a wake up call that I need to get a hold of this now. I mean, I didn't have what we would call a rock bottom. I had a lot of little like sandy bottoms that just accumulated into, something that felt like it needed to be addressed.
Yeah, my bottom was probably sandier, but I saw the rocks. They were
right
seconds away.
Yeah, like I knew that the rocks were coming. It was also that realization too, like you don't have to wait for a rock bottom, because one will come. Like if you continue on a path of destruction, eventually you're gonna hit a rock. So why not try to stop before that happens?
And that's a huge one for me. And I think the word yet comes into that one. I haven't done that yet. I haven't DUI'd yet. I haven't lost my family yet, my job. But it's that understanding of if I can see it ahead of time, because I was the toilet was flushing, is like, right here is when I should have bailed out.
Yeah.
It was at the bottom. Things were spinning, and I was right there when I pulled the chute. And Sandy bought, the justification thing scares me so much, because I've never gotten a DUI. Well, okay, then I can keep drinking. I haven't lost my family, so I can keep drinking. I still have my job. The wall is there. It's going to happen. If you go on, like, and the word you said, I loved, is sustain. Can I sustain this? And there's no way I could have sustained my drinking and achieved the goals I wanted to achieve in life or work or anything. Yeah. I could not be who I wanted to be if I kept drinking the way I was doing.
Right. But also, like, did you know who you wanted to be?
No, at the time, I just knew, because I had given up on dreaming. I had lost the ability to dream. I was in survival. Everything, that I wanted in my life was over. I'm getting too old. I've missed the opportunity. So I'm just, I just got to survive until my kids are grown and can fend for themselves, and then I'll just there's nothing I'm not going to achieve. It was just trying to survive. My goals of my day were just to go to bed without a DUI, or my wife knowing that I was bombed again. Those were my goals. That was my thing. So, but now that I've gotten sober, I'm starting to realize and see, and I've learned to dream again.
Yeah.
And, your dream of becoming a nationally syndicated talk show host is what Brooke, you said something that was a huge one for so many people. I want you to address, and you said the word abandonment, fear of abandonment. I don't want to quit drinking because I'm going to lose my friends. I don't want to quit drinking because my social scene. I'm single. Who's going to want to date a guy or a gal that doesn't want to drink? That I just lost 75% of the candidates on my Tinder or whatever app. How did you deal with the abandonment issues, the fear?
Well, it turns out that when you quit drinking, you begin to look at those things. And you can actually look at those things. I like to remind people, like, you can't look at it all at once. That's impossible, because I think a lot of us come into this thinking, I've made such a mess that if I try to clean it all up, like, there's no way I can ever clean this all up. But the good news is you don't have to clean it all up at one time. And it kind of unfolds organically for everyone, and it's different. But the friends that I lost weren't really my friends. They were people who were in my life who drank the way that I drank, and we enabled one another to drink that way. The relationships that went away once I was sober were relationships that weren't interested in a healthy Brooke. They were more interested in a Brooke with no boundaries, a Brooke with no sense of self, an unhealthy Brooke. So yes, that hurts. Like, it's painful, but on the other side of it are so many other beautiful things. And the most important is that I realize it's not about others abandoning me. It's about me abandoning myself. And when I am using drugs or alcohol or any other process addictions as a way to cope with my discomfort, I'm abandoning myself. And that hurts more than being abandoned by anyone else. So
I hear you saying that you were serving you were sacrificing yourself for others.
Oh yeah. That's all I knew how to do. Yeah.
And I think that's tough when we don't have a self-worth, because I didn't have a self-worth. I was not worthy of being served by others. I didn't feel, so I was almost running around carrying bags for people. Here, I'll carry that, Mr. Friend. Can I be your friend? I'll get you a drink. I'll do whatever. There was nothing. I didn't put myself first for a long time.
No. It's very much, for me, it was, I found my worth in what I did for others and how much I did for others. And it didn't matter if that came at a cost to me. I was very externally focused. When I got sober, I didn't know what I wanted or what I needed, or, very basic things. I knew what everybody else wanted and what everyone else needed. And that's been, for me, the hardest work has been figuring that out, like what I need, what I want, what works, what doesn't, what my boundaries are. And yeah, that's the work of my life.
So when I entered, and you might be the same way, when I started this, I had a problem with, I drank beer. Oh, I'm sorry. We're supposed to be doing the
Sorry,
monstrosity.
I'm double
How do you
fisting.
not? Anyways, I was going to make a. How do you not go to the bathroom 38 times during your show?
Oh.
Is amazing to me. But
I wear diapers.
oh, good.
Just kidding.
I have cat litter all over my floor here in the office. So, kids are doing that these days at concerts.
What?
Because no, that's a trend that at concerts, probably because of drinking, wearing adult diapers so they don't have to leave the show and just going. Yeah, that's
Ew.
not having to do the line. So can we get back to something important? You're trying to derail my professional show with your talk of bathroom humor. It's kind of try to be a little more professional, please.
I will try.
How do we, like I said, I quit drinking because I had beer. That was my only problem. And then the beer that just exposed, sadly, a lot of problems that I covered with beer that I had to face. And now I lost my coping mechanism to deal with those things. Because that's what I drank, so I didn't have to face those things. And now I lose beer and I got to do that. But how do you get your self-worth back? And how, quitting alcohol doesn't necessarily do that.
Right.
How do you build that back up? Because that pride in myself carries over to today. Suddenly, you know what? I don't want to throw this all away. I kind of like who I'm seeing in the mirror right now. I don't want to drink and lose this. But how do you get that self-worth going?
That was a big question that I had. And what I've found is it's a slow process. It has been a slow process for me. I think it's an AA saying that self-esteem comes from esteemable acts. And I find that to be true. For me, it also comes from finding meaning. When I was drinking, there was really I didn't feel like I was doing anything meaningful because, like you said earlier, you lost the ability to dream. And I had that experience as well. I just thought, well, this is my life now. And, I wanted to escape from it. So part of sobriety, aside from the stopping of the drinking, is creating the life that you don't want to escape from, that you don't need to escape from. And for me, that looks like, giving back to a community, being of service, doing work that is meaningful to me, being present when when I'm with my son or when I'm with, someone who's important to me, even someone who's not important to me, like at the grocery store, anywhere, just being present in that moment and absorbing the experience. That's something that was not available to me before sobriety. And through like tiny moments like that, as they begin to accumulate, for me, it built a sense of self. Like I know who I am in this world on this big giant spinning ball, and I feel present and grounded in my life now, whereas that wasn't possible for me before. Did that make sense?
No, it does. It does. And I'm asking you questions that are obviously I'm looking for that 1 or 2 word answer, which is always, or just a magic pill that's going to fix everything. And I know that's
I would have loved
case.
that. Yeah.
That was in the AA book. There's a chapter called, I think it's called There Is a Solution. And I always thought, oh, cool. This is where you get the tear out prescription that I can just run down to, Walgreens or CVS and, oh, you're looking for this pill. There you go. You're cured. But then it was like a whole bunch of pages afterwards. I thought, crap, they're going to make me do work to get this thing. But the self-worth again, or the self-esteem, I still see myself, and I'm picking on you because you have helped so many people. So I'm getting greedy and answering the question, the things I really want to hear. But on a Friday night, some people have a family, some people have, I don't know, some activities. Friday night, when I get home at 5 o'clock and I'm by myself, and now the only thing I got to listen to is my head, who's probably telling me it's time to drink. How do I get that self-esteem or that purpose? Because that's the time I don't have something to occupy my time. And for me, boredom or idle time was the killer.
Mm-hmm.
So how does someone new deal with those? You know, if your house was on fire and you were running around saving animals, you would not be thinking about drinking. Most of us wouldn't be at that moment. So obviously it's up here. When you're sitting bored in front of the TV, that's when. So I got to fix up here, because if I had something to really occupy my time, I probably wouldn't be focused on drinking. So what do you do on a Friday night when the work week's over? You got all this crap on your head, from the week.
Yeah. I don't know if it's not Augustine Burroughs, but there's a quote that your mind can be a dangerous place. Don't go there alone.
Mm-hmm.
That resonates with me. So early sobriety, I'd say the first year, maybe year and a half, was much different for me than my experience of it now on a Friday night. But those very, very early days, I would say like the first 90 days especially, we're humans. We are habitual creatures. So, if you've been drinking on a Friday for 20 years, your brain is going to tell you that, it's 5. You don't even have to see the clock. You just know it's 5 o'clock and you want to drink. The way that I navigated that part is I knew that I had to keep my hands busy. I had to have something to do to get into like a flow state. And for me, that was I refinished my hardwood floors. I would sand and paint reclaimed furniture. I would do needlepoint in my bed.
Knitting and drinking with Brooke.
Knitting and drinking with Brooke. God, I was so embarrassed. Anything that kept my hands busy and my mind focused. Reading. I also highly recommend consuming any book that you can find, whether it's related to sobriety or not. Everything that I read was, quit lit and neuroscience. I had a need to understand what was happening in my brain around addiction and why it was happening. And having that information was important to me. And over time, you build new pathways in your brain, and that instinct to drink every evening or whenever slowly fades as you form new habits.
How the importance of letting my mind, I always want to know why. I want to know why am I craving a drink? And you talked on one of your shows the importance of letting go and just letting it pass and letting it. Whereas I thought about this last night, because I was moving furniture and sweating like and I was driving thinking, and the thought, God, it's a Friday night. I'm moving people. There's pizza over there. I should have a beer in my hand right now. And I was sitting at a light. I was thinking about it, and I realized I was giving it credit. I was romancing it in my head. I was adding to the thought. I was playing out, thinking of how all the good things of it. And I remember you saying, because I was thinking about, we were going to be talking this morning about you saying, just let it go. Just, okay, that thought came into my head. Now think about something else. Let's look at that tree over there that is, I don't know, just get your mind off it. Let that thought go versus I'm always wanting to dig into the thought and understand why the hell am I wanting a beer when I haven't had one in a year and a half? You know, which way should we go on that, or does that work for you?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite conversations to have. I have found that when I dig into a thought, when I follow a thought, when I attach to it and go down a road with it, it doesn't end well for me. And I may not realize it until a day, a week, a month later. And so for me, it's been very helpful to practice allowing the thoughts. Not judging them, you know. So for instance, you were driving and you had the thought about how nice a beer would be. Cool. I'm having a thought. Like, if we can observe ourselves from a non-judgmental place and be like, oh, look, here I am having this thought about how I would like a beer. Cool. I'm not going to do that. And then not following it, not creating a story about it, or like attaching to it and letting that become the primary thought. Because what I find is that as soon as I acknowledge and not let it bully me, a new thought comes. Because our brains are full of thoughts. A new one will always pop up. And then we get to choose whether it's one that we want to entertain or if it's one that we're just going to be like, hey, I see you. Cool. You can go now. When I approach my thoughts that way, the ones that aren't serving me go away more quickly than they used to. And I am not a professional at this. I have to practice every day, all the time. But it has gotten easier.
Do you have a set routine when a thought? Peggy just said 6,200 thoughts a day. Do you have a set routine of how you let them go?
Not really. I mean, it's more of a noticing. I notice that if I'm fixated on a particular thought, I guess the only routine part about it is checking in with my body and noticing how my body feels when I'm connected to that thought. And if I can feel, and this has taken a lot of practice as well, if I can feel anxiety or tension in my body, then it's a signal to me that this is a thought that needs to go. And it's not something that I can I don't know how to say, I can't be mean to the thought and be like, you're a dumb thought, like, get the hell out of here. It has to be a kinder approach in my head, like, oh, I see what you're doing. That's okay. But you can go now. We're not gonna hang out right now. That's really the only routine part of it. But and I'm not always great at it. There are times when I find myself, spun up and anxious about a thought. This happens regularly, but I can recognize it more easily than I used to be able to.
It's interesting because the beauty of what we're doing right here is this community. And I want to hit with you on that because I had, I do host this little deal and I have my ideas, but we did a panel discussion Tuesday night and some of the people, Jesse and Jenna and Cindy and Charissa and some of those, I brought up something and they countered it. And I think it was along this idea of letting it go, whereas I would have grabbed the thought and held on to it. They kind of said what you said of just, hey, acknowledge, go, yeah, I got you, but I understand what you're trying to do. It's not going to happen. So thanks for showing up, but I'm moving on and focus and just letting it go. And it was something that was completely foreign to me because I want to know why. Why the hell am I wanting a beer when I'm sitting here at this light? You know, and knowing everything that beer is going to do to me, I know the destruction it will, not might, it will bring.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I still have this saying, but it was like, well, yeah, it's there. No big deal. Let it go and move to the next thought. I wouldn't get that if I didn't have this community. And I almost am jealous of you because you get to hold the little yellow cards and cut people off and tell them when they can talk and when they can shut up and pick and choose who you want. I notice all those things.
Oh my gosh.
And it hurts, but that's okay.
Lies. These are lies.
That's another topic.
I have 0 yellow cards.
Well, how do you wave people off when they've been chatting? I've never seen it happen.
I've never done it. I figure, I mean, if someone is still going after like 10 minutes, then I'm probably gonna. Like
Peggy does sometimes. She can just blah, 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 blah. And it just is.
No,
like,
Peggy is the sweetest.
But it's just it just goes on and on.
Ignore him, Peggy.
But my point was, you get to listen, you get the benefit of hearing all these different voices and thoughts and what's working, and that's so key to me is hearing. That's why I get TLC, because it's not one person, it's the group that mold the ideas. How important was community for your growth?
It's been everything. It's the thing that I didn't know I needed, and the thing I didn't know how badly I needed. It's changed the way that I feel about sobriety and recovery and connection. I am an introvert. I'm a social introvert, but I'm an introvert, and it's been hard for me to connect with people, even before the pandemic. But I credit this community, the TLC community, and connections that I've made through the community for getting me through this pandemic. I mean, I can't now imagine what my life would have been like if this hadn't grown into what it has become. The other night I was sitting on my kitchen floor petting Gunner and thinking how different my life looks today versus a year ago today. The people who are in my closest circle are all people that I have connected to through TLC or, related to TLC, or maybe I was connected before, but still am because of TLC. My work is different. I left my job of 14 years last month to focus on this work. The way I parent is different. The way I show up in my life every single day is different. And it's all because of what this experience and what I get to witness in these meetings, the vulnerability and the honesty and people telling the truth about where they are in their life, maybe for the first time ever, speaking it out loud. It is nothing short of magic. It's I can't believe that I get to do this. It's incredible.
There's a lot of there was a post on, I don't know if it was TLC side or Peggy's this side of alcohol. They're both unbelievable places for community and support, but there was a comment made about people that are shy to share at the meetings, and how how important is that versus, because some people are scared to death to get on and do this, present company included, you know?
Yeah.
How important is that how important is sharing at some point?
I think that, you know, it depends on the person, but I would say, just generally, that first time that you speak in a meeting, you know, not necessarily to tell your story, but to just allow yourself to be seen and witnessed. I think it's really important. You know, many of us, I would have been a lurker, like people call themselves. You know, I would have had my camera off. I don't think I would have ever raised my hand. For a while. Eventually, maybe I would have gotten there. And there's so much opportunity for connection once you begin to actually connect. You know, you can absorb what you're hearing in meetings. You can use those experiences that you're hearing from others. But at a point, I do think it's really important that you share yourself with the community. Not all of yourself, you know, take it slow, say hi. You may not even know what to say. Half the time, I don't know what the hell's going to come out of my mouth, but just, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid. You just kind of have to jump in there, because it changes, in my opinion, it changes the trajectory of your path. You don't know who is going to hear what you have to say and connect with that, and then reach out to you. Some of my very best friends I've met because they showed up in TLC meetings and raised their hand and spoke, and now I can't imagine my life without them. So yeah.
I remember the street I was on. I actually call it Becky Boulevard. It up there, a place I call on a lot. The first time that she called on me and said, okay, Jeff, and suddenly I was on, and I just panicked. Yeah. But it was such a relief afterwards, just to have shared and not get attacked by aliens, which I thought would happen, or, you know, totally. I'm going to explode or whatever, to survive it. It just was a massive relief.
Yeah.
It opened the doors of getting what's in here. It's so important for me to get it out. And that first time, just opening my mouth, it lets that out. And there was a sense of, wow, that was huge. And I survived it, and I feel better for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, when we're in active addiction, we spend so much of our time hiding. I know that I did. It's a very confining life. And I think that speaking in a meeting or connecting with others, the resistance to that, I feel, is connected to that part of us that still wants to hide. That's still scared. You know, there's a lot of fear involved in this journey, and overcoming that fear is important. And a great way to do it is to speak up and to let yourself be seen. It is scary.
Fear is huge. Everything about me was fear. I feared fear. I was crippled with anxiety for so many years. It ruled everything, but just the fear of speaking, so I didn't do it. The fear of going to a party sober, so I didn't do it. I either didn't go or I drank. The fear of telling anyone, the fear of starting sobriety, because what if I fail? I feared failure. So fear is massive hurdle to overcome. And there's no way Bruce Lee, the martial artist, he said, your safest place is when you go at your enemy or go into, attack it. So instead of running from fear, doesn't take anything away from the fear. Confronting it, going into it, getting on a meeting, saying hi, just turning the camera on for a couple minutes is you tackling that fear, and that's critical.
Yeah, I like how you said that too. Turning your camera on for a couple of minutes, raising your hand and saying, I don't know what to say, but I just felt called to share. It's a leaning into fear, like a softer approach to fear, I think is helpful. We don't have to do all of the things at once. We can't do all of the things at once. So like you said, just little steps. That's helpful.
And that was, you just led into my next question. I think it was Megan who is, she's been on, and she's a friend of mine. Someone was talking about being overwhelmed with so much okay, I'm quitting drinking. So tonight I got to not drink. I've got to fix my marriage. I've got to save my job. I've got to talk to my kids about my problem. I got to get my bills paid. I got to get rid of, and I think Megan said, just put them into buckets and deal with them one at a time. And that made so much sense to me, because it's almost like, okay, I can't deal with all this stuff. I'll deal with it tomorrow. I'm drinking tonight because this is the pressure of all this crap to do is too much for me.
Totally.
And we try to save our marriage. We try to save everything in a week. And what's working for me is, let's pick one simple, achievable goal for today. I don't care what it is. Small, get a win, and then tomorrow we'll add another win to it.
Yeah.
But otherwise I get overwhelmed. So did that, because you mentioned overwhelming, and that just strikes a chord, I think, with so many people. They want it all in a day. Yeah.
Isn't that sweet? Yeah, it's not going to happen in a day. No matter how much we want it to happen. The idea, like you said, I had a therapist who called it golden goals. So you start small, maybe your golden goal for the day is that you're just not going to drink. Not that that's a small feat, but if that's your goal, awesome. You don't have to do anything else. Maybe your goal is to make your bed every day. I never made my bed until I got sober. So that was one small thing that once I started to do, it gave me confidence that, okay, I can do more things. I can add to this. And I just accumulated little wins, like you said, along the way. But there's no way that you can fix your life overnight. It's just not possible. And that's great. Like, could you imagine that if everyone had their life fixed, what would we talk about, and what would we do? It would be super boring. So it's a process. It is a process, and it happens a little bit at a time. And there are times when it feels like nothing's happening, nothing's getting better. Maybe it even feels like things are getting worse. But what I found is, especially in those times, there's work happening that I can't see. There are things that are integrating that I don't even realize. Jim Zartman, he's the Enneagram guy. He has said, information is not transformation. And I just love that. We can have all of this information about how to get sober, how to fix our marriage, how to be a better parent. But until you put those things into practice over a period of time and integrate that information into your life, you're in that liminal space. And that's a beautiful place to be. It really sucks sometimes and it's very painful, but that's where the growth and the transformation happens. Yeah, it's not a Lightfoot.
Oh, we want it all. I want to be in
Yeah.
shape tomorrow. I want to just go out and jog once and be perfect and
Me too.
have all those things. Don't use that word liminal ever again. You sent me to Google, and I ruined half my day trying to figure out what the hell you were talking about that one day. I felt so out of place. So, for someone, I've got questions for the whole day for you, but for someone that is, you're so inspiring to so many people because you're real, and that's the beauty of it. It's the thing that's tough on some, not just with sobriety, but we see a speaker telling us what to do and how to do it, and they're up here, and we're down here looking up to them like the little, and they're telling us, boom, boom, boom. You are an eye-to-eye person. You're real. You're one of us, essentially. So people can relate to you, and that's what's so appealing. How do the first person, or the person that's listening right now, that's going, you know what, this Brooke, damn it, I'm doing this thing. Today I start. How do they get through that first day? What are the steps to get through? Because this is it, Brooke. I'm ready to do this. How do I get through day one?
Oh my gosh.
Solve the world, Brooke. We're all listening. We all want to know how to do this.
You know what, Jeff? Like you just said, which I really appreciate. I take that as a compliment that you find me to be relatable. I don't know everything. I know. The things.
But if we talk, we will figure them out as a we.
True. Yeah.
One person, no, but as a group, we have these discussions. We, and I always capitalize we when I'm putting anything down, and that's not by mistake, because that's how important that word is. I probably should lowercase I, but that's too hard. That's too many. The computer always wants to fix me. But
I know.
But we is how we figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
And I know I'm asking you these questions, but it's not a one person. I know that.
Okay, good.
It's a we. So anyways, what is our advice to get through day one? How do we, I'm going to have cravings today at noon or at 3:00.
Yeah. If you're deciding right now at 9 a.m. Eastern time that this is going to be your day one, my advice would be to treat yourself as, to parent yourself as lovingly as possible through the day. To be kind to yourself, do like a self-care day, whatever that looks like for you. Bubble bath, I don't know. Maybe you go for a run. Stay busy. If you have friends who don't drink, I didn't when I was on day one, connect with them. Go to a TLC meeting. There's one, what is today, Saturday? There's one in an hour. Is it an hour? Shit, I should know this.
I know, but I think it is at 10 a.m. I'm the same way.
Yeah,
but if you go to, what is the website? Because is it tlc.com?
It's theluckiestclub.com. You can go there if you're not a member. There's a free trial, a 3-day free trial you can sign up for. And
even the membership is cheap as hell, and it's worth every frickin' penny. Because there's meetings and variety and community. It's worth every penny, and it's not expensive.
Yeah, there's a forum as well. So if you sign up, you also get access to this forum. Thank God it's better than the one we had before. And you can find subgroups. So you can look for groups in your area, like your geographic area, or based on your interests, and you can connect directly with other people who know what this is like, who have been on a day one and who are on the other side of that. And that would be my advice to getting through a day one on a Saturday, if you're out there and you don't know how you're going to do this. If you have people in your life who are sober, awesome. Connect with them. Accountability buddies, those are great. If you don't have people, the great news is there are lots and lots of us out here who would love to support you and get you through this day. And that's what the Luckiest Club does. So yeah, there are many meetings, many.
You have you have a son who's 12. What are your conversations with him regarding alcohol? And I know that I think you're probably different, but let's keep,
Probably different.
Well, you're just, yeah. But in general, though, what's your openness with your son? What are the discussions? I mean, he's only 12, but he's going to be, get to an age where people are going to want to drink. And I have kids that drink, and they drink responsibly. And I'm not going to tell them don't drink. It's the drink of the devil. I'm not going to say that because they might not my wife doesn't have a problem with alcohol. So why shouldn't she enjoy a beer now and then? Because it's people do that to relax. I can't use alcohol to relax. I've got to find a different way to achieve what I'm looking for.
Right.
But what do you say? What do you say to Maddox?
Well, I mean, the thing with kids, and I think humans in general, is if you tell them that they can't do something, it just makes them want to do it even more. Like, screw you, I'm going to do this because you said I can't. I mean, I do that still when someone tells me I can't do something. So my conversations with him around drugs and alcohol, around sex, around all of the things that that I wish I would have had an adult to talk to about, I'm open with him about those things at an age appropriate level. But it's important to me that he feels that he can come to me with questions and with screw ups, and know that I'm going to listen and not judge him, because he's going to mess up. He's a human. We're all going to mess up. And the conversation specifically around drugs and alcohol has been, educating him that, we have a family history. This is a thing that you're at risk for. Not saying that you can't drink. I'm saying that you need to be aware of this. And if you find yourself in a position where you feel like it's out of control, you can come to me for help. And if you're too afraid to come to me for help, there are other ways to get help. You need to talk to, but it's safe to talk to people. It's safe to share. And that has worked so far with him. He shares all kinds of things with me, not drug and alcohol related yet, but other things that maybe I would rather not know, but I'm glad that he feels comfortable telling me. Yeah, I think having an open line of communication with your kids is important. That they feel that they can come to you with questions and that you're going to answer them honestly.
I know we're running out of time, but do you feel a need? I know he's only 12, but do you feel a need to apologize to him for and we're going to do a separate show on that because people, but just real quick, do you feel you need to apologize? Have you? Does he even remember? Were there any?
So no, I don't feel that I need to apologize to him. I feel like, he would, I'm sure that there are things that he remembers, or situations where I was drunk that he very likely remembers, but I don't feel shame about those experiences, or, I did at first. but I don't feel that way anymore. And the reason that I don't feel that I need to apologize to him with words is because I know I show up for him now, and I have shown up for him for almost 5 years in like a sober way, in a present way. And that to me is worth so much more than a worded apology. And that he sees the work that I do. He sees me in service of others, and that's what's important to me. I think, I could tell him, I'm sorry that I drank a lot when you were younger. And maybe that would, mean something to him at some point. Maybe it would mean something right now, but it's more important to me that I walk the walk, and that he sees that.
Yeah, I think my kids were, Dad, we love you, but don't say the words "I'm sorry" again. They mean nothing to us. Yeah. In maybe even a nicer way, but it was just show us that that's what we want to see. And that, again, I want the quick one. I want to be able to say I'm sorry and that it's all better, but they are making me earn it. And I probably will appreciate a hell of a lot more because I've earned it versus just being given, accepting an acceptance of an apology. Okay, we're at the top of the hour, but I got to do these real quick.
You're fine.
Favorite cereal?
Oh, okay. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I love it. Captain Crunch.
With or without?
With.
Really?
Because
you can get just Crunch Berry cereal, but I
no, I like to have both, but I don't do Captain Crunch very often because it just really tears up the roof of my mouth. And
yeah. Thank you. Now, do you drink the milk at the end of when you finish cereal?
Only if it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Apple Jacks possibly has one of the best milks afterwards. That was a huge one.
I do like Apple Jacks.
I know this is going to be some lame girl answer, but favorite movie? The correct answer is Blues Brothers or Young Frankenstein, but I know you're going to give some Under Bridges, Madison, or something girlish. But
you don't know me at all. Pulp Fiction. No, Pulp Fiction or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yes. Tarantino. Yes, there you go.
Exactly. Good stuff. If you could have any car, what would Brooke be driving around if she could? If Laura gave her a raise that she deserves. I'm trying.
It would like an old VW bus, fully restored. Cherry red.
Without saying Biggie Smalls, favorite music or artist?
That's a tough one.
I don't have one. It depends upon the mood for me.
Yeah, it depends on my mood.
Okay, favorite concert you've ever been to?
Oh. Damn it. Tom Petty and Bob Dylan.
Together? They were together?
They were together. From what I remember, and Stevie Nicks was there. From what I remember, it was a really great show.
Stevie was always attracted to me. She didn't know it, but she was.
I wanted to be her. Still do.
Yeah, she was. Yeah. That's the big one. And then if you could win on The Price is Right, any vacation trip, where would you go?
Costa Rica.
Have you been there before?
Yeah, I've been there before. Let me think of it. One I haven't been to. No, I would go back. Costa Rica.
So is it the beach or the
everything? Okay. Yeah, the Caribbean side of Costa Rica. It's magical. It's a magical place. Yeah,
that's great. You know, the TLC forum, I meant to say, someone mentioned, I think it was even on your show, that Kanye, there's so many Kanye fans out there. He's trying to change his name to just Ye, I think now.
He is, yes, yes. Yeah.
See,
I love Kanye.
I'm such a Zeppelin and older. I love all music, but I'm definitely got an older blues influence. But no, the community thing in the forum. Someone said there's a Columbus, Ohio group, and it's in the kind of central Ohio. But I'm going to look that up and see if we can, because that's about an hour and a half or so from Cincinnati. Try and get some TLC, a group lunch or something going. So, well. Brooke, I wanted to hit so much more. We didn't even get to the good dirt stories about, your past, but maybe we could.
Yeah, we would need like a Netflix special for that.
Now that's, maybe we can do that another time. But I've been, I hope you don't think but I've been just chicken scratching. I got 3 pages of notes from what you've been saying. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. The thing is, I'll look at it later and go, she said, because I my writing is so bad, and it's like the answer to sobriety is and
Captain Crunch.
Right, exactly. That's it. So Captain Crunch is a good one. Yeah, no, there's I used to live on my mom would go grocery shopping, and I'd sit at the cereal aisle and look at all the toys that you would get at them,
Yes.
And that was a lot of, because I could always pick one cereal, one crap one, and unfortunately it was always at the bottom, so you had to do a lot of.
I miss having toys and cereal. I don't even think they do that anymore.
No, and that was huge.
Oh
my grubby little dirt fingernailed hands digging down to get to the bottom, but
like as soon as you got home. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. All right. Well, look, hang on for just a second, but thank you, everyone. Brooke, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the smiles, most importantly. That's don't and thanks for Gunner. Unlike Billy, the perfect.
Billy is so perfect.
He's such
double gated Gunner out of my space because I couldn't deal with him this morning. So Billy's a good dog.
He's the old man. He's one of those, and people go through it all the time, but that's going to be a little bit of a test for me. And that's we're in extra innings, so
don't end on this note, Jeff.
But no, well, what I'm ending on is the importance of community, because that's what's going to get me through that day. Is you and everyone else in the groups and the people in my phone, and that's what's going to. And I'm so thankful. Once again, I gave up beer because I had a problem with beer, but what I got in return is unbelievable and growing every day. So all right, hang in there. We will we'll be back Tuesday night. We have panel discussion night, and we are going to get. I don't think it's going to be that night, but we're going to talk about dealing with kids and all those fun words. So thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. See you, Brooke.
Bye. Thank you.